Welcome to Season 2 of The Question. We're back, better, and visual too. Each episode we ask a question and seek out an expert answer. For this episode, the question is, what is the whistleblowing framework in Botswana? We'll be taking the construction industry as a case study. My guest this week is Marumo Omotoye. He is a researcher at BITBA, that is Botswana Institute for Development Policy Analysis. It is the government's think tank that was established in order to advise government when it comes to policy matters. He's also a PhD candidate and an expert when it comes to matters of corruption. To get started, I asked him, what is whistleblowing?
I mean, there's so many definitions, textbook definitions, but simply put, it's about exposing wrongdoing, literally blowing the whistle. You know, when you see something wrong within the organization, you need to speak out.
The Whistleblowing Act was promulgated in 2015, and it is the specific piece of legislation that deals with whistleblowing. That is, in case the name didn't give it away. Before this act, there were provisions provided for in the Economic Crime and Corruption Act. Why is a whistleblowing act needed?
You know, corruption is something that occurs behind closed doors. I mean, you and I, as we sit here, we don't know what some government official and some tenderpreneur are discussing behind closed doors. But there may be somebody within that organization who are aware of, you know, such meetings, and they probably know that the consequences or the heavy implications that could come about because of whatever decisions those two shady characters are discussing. You know, and the consequences of this could be, you know, not only affect the organization, but, you know, the public at large. When you talk about, for example, the construction industry, where buildings need to be, constructed, and shady deals are happening within the sector. The employees that may be aware of these deals and, you know, compromises that the quality of work of these whatever needs to be constructed, either it be, you know, hospitals or houses or whatever, you know. So this employee would be in the position to blow the whistle or report this wrong.
It is very common to read about collapsed buildings in Nigeria, which is considered to be one of the most corrupt countries in Africa. The same thing can happen in Botswana, hypothetically speaking. The point of this act is to encourage and protect whistleblowers. How effective is it?
The research paper found that not a lot of people actually know about the act. So already that raises questions about its effectiveness, because those that it's meant to protect do not even know that it exists. It's actually one of the barriers to whistleblowing that the study found, that, you know, because people do not know about the act, the likelihood of them reporting is very low. So yeah, people do not know about the act. The custodian of the act, which is the DCUC, and we had a survey for construction firms, you know, just to gauge their perceptions about whistleblowing as well as corruption within the sector.
The act is not effective because corruption is rampant within the construction industry. It even involves the regulator.
Yes, so they were saying that those actors, you know, like the professional bodies that are meant to ensure that standards are upheld, are often complicit because they don't take the necessary, they don't take necessary action against those who do violate whatever professional codes of conduct.
Yes, and the reason being that they're compromised or they're just not legislatively empowered.
Yeah, or you find that they are somehow involved. Or it's like they take cuts, certain portions of tender allocations. You find that a certain amount of it is specifically for a cut. Somebody has to benefit from a particular tender. So there are lots of issues behind the scenes. The custodian of the act, which is the DCC, has to do a bit more in terms of educating people, not only employees in the construction industry, but I think just the general population. So another issue that
the media is the original whistleblower. It isn't included.
So if you wanna report a wrongdoing, you'd only be protected if you approach these particular institutions. So you can't, but you know very well that the media is a big beneficiary, if I could put it that way, of anonymous reporting.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're to report to a journalist, you wouldn't be protected as a whistleblower. So you would have to face any consequences that come with that. So we recommended the need to revise the act to include additional bodies, such as regulators as well as the media.
The act also doesn't include witness protection. So yeah, you're on your own if ever your name gets leaked.
There's a link between whistleblowing and witness protection. As a whistleblower, you're always I don't think a whistleblower is able to sleep at night, especially if you know that you've reported influential people, and so you're at risk, either you or your family or your associates. We've seen in other countries where people are actually killed.
In fact, there needs to be a general alignment of the law. I'll let Marumo explain it further.
Yeah, so if you find yourself in a situation where you have to report a wrongdoing within the ministry, you can't do that because the public service oath says you need to get consent from the PS. So what if this wrongdoing involves the PS himself or herself? So it makes it a bit tricky for you as a whistleblower. You ask yourself questions. It's to encourage people, potential whistleblowers, to come. I know it's easier to say it than to actually do it. Encouraging people to come out and report wrongdoing, because at the end of the day, especially if you find yourself working in organizations that have operations that have the potential to negatively impact the lives of citizens. We've seen in other countries where, even in our country, where houses are, or there's poor workmanship, and these structures are not fit for any purpose. They actually pose a threat to the lives of people. So I mean, if you find yourself in a situation where you're working in such places, and you know that it's really about cutting corners and making a quick buck at the expense of people's lives, then obviously you need to come forward and report such.
Thanks for watching this episode of The Question. Special thanks to my guest this week, Marumo Omotoye, and my cameraman this week, my brother. Please like and share. Until next time.